Okay, I'm back.
Imagine a planet of little TJ lasers, all highly skilled in weapons and biotic tactics, with me as absolute ruler. You want to be a part of this incredible vision, and you can get a space taxi back to Planet Idiot.
Is there a game
Uh,
going on right now?
yeah.
Wait, who's streaming?
I'm chilling. So, I didn't play a game of solo queue today, so like my mental is fresh. Hmm. Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of Skeletal gameplay. Because I haven't really paid much attention to this tournament in general. Because I assumed this tournament would be over by now, but apparently it's losers bracket semifinals. So I'm just mhm. Ooh. I like this rel pick here. It basically nullifies any engage that Nautilus can. Actually, you know what? Before before this game started, I was actually playing Flex with my friends, and I was playing Kaisa Nautilus into a rel Misfortune, and it was painful to play because like none of us. Well, my Nautilus couldn't engage because rel could just like CC, right? And because it would just like counter CC the Nautilus, and then like we just couldn't engage, and then Misfortune kind of got like to play the game how she wanted to, and she's just unbelievably tanky with those rel stats. So uh mhm. Okay, yeah, sure. So I see the Malphite. Okay, so Malphite gets banned out for obviously for Squav. They want to nullify that, the classic press R circle comp that they have. Ornn as well is very well. It's not a circle, but it's still better than a circle, really. And then SLBs, Silas, and Kale being banned out. Those classic carry like snowbally style top laners that if SLB can get one or two uh, levels on, he can definitely like take over the game. The Rek'Sai is picked, so that Taki's gonna be very proactive in this early game. I think he's gonna be like will be on the map faster than Heck, but it depends on how his lanes can follow up on getting these small leads. Like it will accumulate over time. Like you can't force as hard into a Rel, Sivir, and Echo because they have relative tankiness and safety early game, but as long as their laners can get priority for things like early scuttle crabs, deep vision, early dragons, Rek'Sai does pop off around level 3 to level 9. So it comes down to how,
Okay.
yeah, it just comes down to how well Gromp Gobblers can execute this comp.
Yeah. So I think my mic should actually be working now on the stream. So apologies, guys. I was speaking for about maybe about 10 minutes and nothing was going through, but all good now. It would appear. So I'm really liking, as you were saying, what I'm kind of seeing here on blue side. There's a lot of defense for them, but also like really nice kind of scaling. And yeah, I mean, like also like just some strong lanes, right? You have Renekton into Volibear, which is probably like the most volatile matchup here. But that is something that Crusty fans can kind of look to exploit, or Taki, depending how much time each owner kind of wants to spend time up there. So it looks like we do have a lobby remake just because of client bugs. I don't think any of those were actually placeholders, thankfully. So we'll hopefully be back up and running shortly. But yeah, like as kind of play off your point about Rel is that like she works both really well as like this kind of defensive pick into like these kind of heavy CC supports that also have shielding, right? Because she can actually just outright break the knowledge shield with her Q, and that's kind of part of what makes him so powerful in bot lane, so that he can soak up so much damage with that shield. So yeah, I actually really like it as a response to that. Pairing up with a Sivir, it's not the most aggressive early lane, as you said, but if you can actually catch off someone like the Xayah or the Kai'Sa, early on, the Sivir Q can actually do quite a lot of damage early on. So there is still kill potential in the 2v2 for them. So I really like Blue Side Draft actually, as we'll see it play out again once they're back into the lobby here. So it's interesting that they banned the Galio as well, because we know that has been like the flex pick between Plow Dig and Legendary. So it's good that they're showing that some respect. I'm a big fan of the Galio support flex. I feel like it's quite strong. So SLB locked in Ornn for some reason. Alright, so they have to remake. Okay, and we're back into picks again. Alright, you guys saw how the draft went. I don't think we need to talk about it too much more. And we'll probably get more into it when we get into the game. So we'll just go to a quick break while this is all setting up, and we'll touch you guys quite shortly. Okay, guys, we are back into this Server 42 Losers Bracket semi-final with Gromp Gobblers versus Skeletal, and both teams just getting out on the rip. We do see Gromp Gobblers kind of looking towards, possibly looking for a cheeky invade here through the bot river brush.
They are going to get spotted from that early ward from Exodus, though, so they're just going to retaliate by getting a couple more wards into both sides of Taki's jungle, so they have perfect vision of where he starts, or perfect knowledge. Sorry,
which is pretty nice for the Rek'Sai, because if I remember correctly, I do think Rek'Sai kind of has kind of more kill pressure on the Hecarim early on to the game, right? So having that knowledge means that maybe he can plan for an invade or look to play around a certain lane, like perhaps like this volatile top lane we were kind of talking about earlier, which I feel like between the Rek'Sai, Volibear, and the Hecarim and the Renekton, I would kind of favor the Volley and the Rek'Sai, right? Because like I feel like the CC and the combination is just a lot easier to pull off. Plus, it's a bit more mixed damage that way. So it's like if the Volibear just stacks, a bit of armor, then it's kind of easier to defend versus like this kind of heavy, AD coming out from both Hecarim and Renekton.
We do see Crusty Pants is now, using that information from those boards. It's going to go to invade Taki's red side. Just take the red, maybe take the Raptors and then walk away. But he may have the time to clear his ult top side, get that level 3, look for a top or mid gank as maybe a mid gank might be possible here.
Yep.
Poplar does have the ignite, doesn't have TP though, so he won't have that back timing those back timing advantages or map presence, but
No, he is getting chunked out in these trades pretty harshly. He's having to choke those pots, like those pot stacks, very very early. So we'll see if he can stabilize in this mid lane, or maybe he might be forced back early. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, Kormiko and Manizu getting pushed in very hard down here in the bot lane. See if Kormiko can pick up the CS under the turret. So, yeah, a lot of pressure being put out by Annihilation Legendary very early on.
The thing about playing that lane is that like Rel can't use her like W until Nautilus uses his hook. It's basically playing a game of chicken between the two. It's like who used their CC first. Boppler?
That's a bit unfortunate. Boppler trying to go aggressive ends up costing his life and his flash. And with no TP available, he's going to lose a lot of CS underneath the turret. That's a really good early advantage for Faldig.
Yeah. Ooh, this wave is actually really bad for this side of Skeletal. It's pushing into them, and Taki is on this bot side right now. Couldn't look for a gank here, but they do have disengage, so it all comes down to how Skeletal play. If they're pushed up if they push up past the halfway mark, they're more or less guaranteed screwed.
Yeah, we'll see now. Kormiko does have that available. The spell shield.
The flash. Okay. Attacking with repel. Use Annihilation Flash. Heal on their tower. Doesn't get the kill. And that a dive gone horribly wrong.
Oh, that is not what you want to see when you manage to get the gank off. Annihilation blowing his flash and also giving his life, giving the early kill to the Sivir as well, who's very happy with that. Right now she's only got the tier. She's just looking to scale.
Oh, Boppler no flash. This is a free kill for decided Gronkopters, but who will it go to? He's definitely not gonna give it to any assist. Oh, very close actually. That time winder nearly. Well, it wasn't close, but if that time winder hit Orianna, that would have been a 1-for-1, and Boppler would have been very happy. But unfortunately, that's another kill for Orianna. So
yeah, Boppler playing very aggressive in spite of not having his flash available to him. So ends up getting caught out and punished for it once more. So yeah, mid lane going very well for Gromp Gobblers. Bot lane could have gone maybe a little bit better, but it's not something that they can't recover from, right? It is unfortunate that such an early kill did go over to the Sivir, who does scale like an absolute monster, and is honestly mostly just looking to farm this lane. So like Scouts will be pretty happy with that. But yeah, a lot of action going down between mid and bot at the moment, which I was expecting more from the top side, to be honest. Right now, they're both just kind of chilling, just farming away, maybe getting the odd trade in here and there, but not seeing too much action just yet.
You see Taki just recalling in that tri-push top lane. Just hovering, just in case there's a gank happening. There is a crab coming up. Unfortunately, I don't think Squabble has prio. This is just from minimap, not for me looking at the actual lane.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Drakakam is really loving bot lane now for some reason, but eventually it might deign to move up. As Taki is just in top lane, looking to get the wave shift in so Squabble could get his back off.
Yep.
So yeah, not too much happening there. They have just conceded the top crab. Means Krusty Pants is that much closer to his level 6 in terms of XP, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, map's kind of just resetting at the moment.
Gold is even. Both bot laners, both bot lanes, summoners are like still down. Bar maybe the ignite and exhaust for Jerry and annihilation respectively. Nothing going on, just a bit of farming.
Yeah,
just chilling.
Just chilling. No, this is the last series for one of these teams, so right now they're not looking to go too ham after some early mistakes from both sides. Doppler in mid lane and then Annihilation in bot lane. So they're just kind of looking to settle down a bit. Yeah. Try maybe just wait for opponent to maybe make a mistake. Right now, Taki has invaded here on Crush Pants' red buff, is staying out of the way. He hasn't been spotted at all, it seems like. Crush Pants is looking mid.
Oh, flash from Orion. Unfortunately, I don't think it's enough as the onslaught of shadows being used. Command shockwave dropped, and phase rush isn't enough. And that is a kill for Krusty Pants. Did burn a lot though. Annihilation hitting the Void Seeker using the. I have no idea about what's her E-call supercharge. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Taki only level 5. Corner break being used and Taki on his own, and unfortunately, I don't think his team was able to follow up considering the level differences. From the side of Skeletal, so that is a 2-for-0 for the side of Skeletal there.
Yeah, strange decision by Taki there after his mid laner already died.
TP being used by Plato Dick, but okay. Yeah, nothing happens. Oh, continue, sorry.
Yeah, so like it's kind of strange for Taki to look for a fight there because they were a man down with Plato Dig having died only just seconds earlier. So even with the bot lane roam, they were still going to be 3v4 in that situation. I think you probably should have just opted to get out as best you can, but ultimately does give over his own life too, and that's a lot more gold back into the favor of Skeletal, who managed to build themselves up nearly 1k gold lead. Neither side has gone for this dragon yet, which I'm kind of surprised by.
Yep.
I would have thought maybe Krusty Pants could have made the look for a dragon play off of that fight, but maybe the help were just too low and they just didn't want to risk it.
Well, Boppler looking for another trade. Fortunately, none of the spells hitting. Just gonna back off a little, but red side aren't going to take dragon off the prio. The Krusty Pants is top side.
Ooh.
Stormbringer being used. Unfortunately, SLB just takes out the bear and flashes out. Probably unnecessary, but I just assume he knows what he's doing. So
yeah, I think it's fine. I think they played the gank out as well as they possibly could have. Maybe Krusty could have tanked Tower Shot instead, or two more, so that's why they didn't have to use his flash, but ultimately, you'll kind of take that in this matchup. If Lexington can kind of get the early snowball, it will really help them in the mid game, which is when Volibear also starts to kind of come in line. But the Volibear ultimately does scale better, so you want the Renekton to have as much a lead as possible, to kind of delay that from happening, right? So, yeah, nice gank coming out from Krusty Pants. Gold lead still building here for Skeletal. In the meantime,
Boppler, nice trade. he does have the R. He used a bit prematurely, thinking that Oriana was gonna get him.
Yeah.
Legendary is it just setting up some deep vision, but I don't think he has the prio to go in like this. He does have
Yeah.
Flash. Crash Down being used. Legendary does have R. Unfortunately, Onslaught of Shadows is going to be used, and Legendary caught out in a very awkward position. And another kill goes to Boppler now.
Yeah,
That
that was a
ult is-
super deep cheeky ward from Legendary. Was pushed in both bot lane and mid lane, so really wouldn't have had any backup there after getting caught. So yeah, ends up giving his life and his flash for very little, to be honest. Like, I think it's just the one red ward that survived here, just below the red buff, and there's one on the Raptors. So they acknowledged that Crusty Pants in the area, but they kind of already knew that from Legendary dying. So
Yeah.
not too much gained, unfortunately.
Oh, Taki is looking for that lane gank. He does have a lot of... Kai'Sa is pushed up. I don't think Cormico and Maximus are looking to leave the halfway point at any point this game, because they did it once and they got ganked.
Yep.
But although they did get a kill, I'm pretty sure they won't fuck up again this time. So they have to play with respects. Hecarim is also in the spot side for a counter gank, but he is spotted from the E. Oh, massive engage from Maximus, unfortunately missing everything. So it is a 3v3. Exhaust being dropped into Crusty Pants. Void Assault being used. Taki gets the kill on Crusty Pants. The flash is out. But Annihilation is now caught with no sums, no ulti, and that is a kill for Cormico.
Yeah, that's a massive fight. Unfortunate for Crusty Pants to go down there. But it does mean that Cormico and Manizu have time to push into the spot lane, get some plates. Boppler.
Oh, Boppler being brought down really low, has Ignite, has Z-Drive Resonance. Unfortunately, I think Oriana has a bit more damage than the Echo at this point, so Shockwave, lovely connection there under the tower, and unfortunately Boppler has not enough HP to survive and get that trade kill with the Ignite, so.
Yeah, well played by Plowdig there to pick up another solo kill in the mid lane, even in spite of the fact that Boppler does have the Ignite.
Here. Onslaught of Shadows being used. I don't think it was necessary. Orion did have flash, but I guess Platodig just knew that he was going to ult, so I guess it's worth then.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing you're gonna use the Hecarim multi for anytime soon, right? Like, you've already taken Dragon. Like, there's not really gonna be a fight over the Herald in the next short while, so trying to use it to deny Platodig from being able to flash out as early possible is fine. Like, get some to kill. Trying to, somewhat equalize out the gold that was given away from that 1v1 kill. Also, denies Platodig from trying to solo any more plates there. But yeah, we're seeing like a lot of very proactive plays kind of coming out from Skeletal early on, which is nice to see. Triforce and Gore Trigger done for the Hecarim and the Renekton respectively, which is really nice to see. These are very strong one-time spikes. Right now, they're kind of using that advantage with the prio top and mid to get themselves a Herald, and you will probably likely see this used in mid or top. Probably, I would imagine in mid lane, because they might want to get Boppler kind of more back into this game, because he does feel like a little bit behind against the Oriana. But it does look like they're heading towards top lane. So they're just going to funnel SLB instead, it seems like.
I think it's a smart play.
Yeah.
Oriana fighting and Boppler not hitting any of his spells. Oh, he does hit the Chrono Break. Unfortunately, he got flash, but Void Assault is enough to take down Boppler and a nice kill. But here comes Crusty Pants. Unfortunately, Platodig flashing out. Taki doesn't have anything else though. Does use the Prowler's Claw, but unfortunately that's a kill for Crusty Pants. So another 1-for-1 in that mid lane. Oh, Onslaught of Shadows being used. Crusty Pants under the tower, but he manages to dodge the Dredge line with the what is this E? Devastating Charge?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So he uses Devastating Charge, getting out of that Nautilus range, gets that kill on Platodig, and yeah, so this Hecarim is very juiced. 4-1-4 now at 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, he just seems to be saving that ulti specifically for Platodig to kind of catch him out every time with the low HP, and it's working out for him, like, managing to seem quite far ahead. He's actually, if we take a quick look, he's actually built himself nearly a 2k gold lead over Takiwaki. already this early on into the game. So that is absolutely massive. So yeah, Skeletal have to be pretty happy with how this game's been going for them so far. They do have the it's kind of hard to say, right? Like their comp doesn't really scale that well overall, but they do have like a lot of scary tools to kind of run at you in any kind of team fight, right? You know, Silver ulti with a Hecarim and a possible TP flank from someone like the Relectin, and also dive from the Echo. Like there's a lot of tools, especially for someone like Annihilation or Platic to try to deal with. And when that kind of competition has this much of a lead this early on, it's very, very difficult to deal with. So we'll see if Scrum Couplers can try reel in and just go back in at all and stop the bleeding across the board.
Yeah, that's true. Hecarim is 3 levels up on Rek'Sai, so at this point, Rek'Sai is basically a non-factor. But I would say she's a non-factor. But she still has that flash knockup, which can be useful.
Yeah.
With that layer of CC that Gromp Gobblers can apply, but until then, Rek'Sai is just a walking pile of 300 gold.
Yeah, especially because he's opted into the Prowler's Claw, right? So he's definitely trying to go for this more damage kind of assassinate-oriented build. But that does ultimately just mean that you're just really, really.
Oh, hang on, SLB dropping the Dominus, and Krusty Pants is top lane. Stormbringer going to be used by Squabble. Unfortunately, it's not enough, and Onslaught Shadows using to catch out Squabble, and that's a kill for SLB.
Yep. It's very nicely timed gank there. SLB going to collect all this farm and shove it in, denying Squabble even more. And yeah, now he gets to roam down for free. Taki looks like he's caught out here.
Something's going on in the mid lane. Krusty Pants does get spotted out. Unfortunately, Taki is there. And a nice shockwave being used, and Krusty Pants being brought very low, and that's a shutdown from Orianna. Meanwhile, Exhaust being dropped in the bot lane. Flash from Taki Waki, and Boppler drops the Ignite, but unfortunately, Taki used the Empowered Bite to get that kill onto Boppler. So that is a 2 for 0. Actually, massive turnaround for Gobblers there.
Yeah, and a bit of a mechanical display from Boppler as he looks like he rocket belted away from the Rek'Sai, where maybe I think he's probably with the Ignite was maybe looking for the extra burst at the end there to try to kill off, maybe get a 1-for-1 at least. But ultimately does go down without getting anything in return. Cormico and Mandizu do have to play pretty safe here. They are respecting the possibility of Taki being in the area. They'll end up just backing off a little bit. They are going to force in the wave though before they do back. So do ultimately have obviously the wave clear, very helpful in that situation. She already has her Gale Force complete, is stacking towards the Merman, it looks like, which I hadn't even realized that she was doing in the first place, which is interesting. I haven't seen that in Shiver yet.
Taki Waki getting caught out in his own jungle, but SLB. Oh wait, Voice Off being used, but Taki Waki's by himself, and Maximus. You can't really, even though Varel's low, she has lots of resistances, and you're playing a champion that isn't, whose execute is kind of physical damage based, so it's not a lot of true damage, so it's gonna be hard to do like a lot of damage.
Yeah, like
I'm pretty sure
if you had something like maybe like the Shen or the Galio to kind of back up the dive, maybe it makes more sense there. But like, there's just no tools there. Like the rest of the team is just too far away to kind of take any advantage of that. So ultimately, does give over another kill to Skeletal, who will happily take that for themselves. 3k gold lead now here in the bank. Most of that is on Krusty Pants, obviously. Massive lead in the jungle at the moment, but the rest of the map's not doing too badly. Like SLB very strong here in Relectin now, working towards that second item, which looks like it's going to be probably the Death Stance or the Starks. I can't tell exactly which. I think it's the Death Stance.
I think it's a Sterak's. I think Sterak's is built out of those items. I think. I don't think
out of pickaxe.
Death Stance built out of. Yeah, pickaxe, spade, and a ruby.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. That's my mistake. So Sterak's, the Saber scaling pretty nicely is.
Looking for the gang. Squabble dropping the Storm Ringer, and just gonna walk away with that victory.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what Cormico's building here on the Saber. So he's got Gale Force. He had a tier like very early on. But he's also got Caulfields and Cloak of Agility. So it seems like he's building towards Essence Reaver, second item. So I'm not too sure what the tier is for. Like, I guess maybe it's just for early mana stacking, but no, I don't know. I don't feel like that's great. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see if he ends up doing anything with it. SLB trying to catch Squabbo.
Dominus being dropped. Squabbo, remember, doesn't have the ulti. He does have flash, but I don't think SLB is able to catch Squabbo, and Squabbo just runs away.
Yeah, I mean, he's quite low HP. He's going to be forced to back. So we'll lose more of these waves. And yeah, right now, Skeletal putting on a lot of pressure across the map. SLB gonna find a Planet here.
Oh, SLB does.
Oh, instant
Planet flash. Shockwave being used, but unfortunately, the Stice manages to get him out of range.
I mean, like, Skeletal are just getting so much here from just SLB's pressure. Like, they can just walk in and just take the dragon for free because the rest of Gromp are just too distracted.
We're walking into Annihilation. It's a level 12. Level 12 Echo versus level 10 Kaisa. He does take the blast, but he does have flash and E. Rocket Bell being used, and the Empowered Moose being not enough. A lot being dropped there from both sides. Unfortunately, Echo didn't have the damage necessary to shot that Kaisa, even though Kaisa had the exhaust.
Yeah, Bopper not having the smoothest of games so far. Is about 3k gold down on his opponent in the mid lane, Flowerdig. So ultimately does not really have the kind of the items to be really able to assassinate someone like Annihilation at this stage in the game, especially when he has the exhaust, right? So yeah, kind of needs to just start farming side waves or pick up as much, jungle farm as jungle will allow him. Try to get himself into like hits, maybe his second spike before he kind of looks for these assassinations. But he might already just be too far behind the mark, to be honest, to kind of do that. So he kind of needs to do it in conjunction with his team more than looking for these solo plays. So just trying to take a quick note of the map state. Skeletal have A's push pretty much everywhere at the moment. It looks like they're trying to put pressure towards this mid lane, try to open up the map for themselves a bit more so they can start really trying to apply pressure on this Baron. Squavo is out of position again, looks like.
Onslaught Shadow's being dropped, and he does have the Stormbringer, but the CC chain is not in. Unfortunately, the Stormbringer is just too short. And that's two ults dropped, and another death for Squavo. Gives him a lot of... walking into the death push. Death charge is going to be used. Brell is going to be left on her own. Magnus not being used, and unfortunately, just to keep them away from Krusty Pants. So, another kill for Talkie Walkie, but I'm not sure if that's the one you want that gold going on to.
Yeah,
Butler. Wrap around 2. Using the E, misses the Q, and unfortunately, it doesn't have anything else to follow up. Flash Dredge Line being used by Jerry, unfortunately going wide. TP being used by Oriana, speeding up the Rek'Sai. Nothing going on. Just a bit overzealous for the boys.
Yeah, TP by Oriana. Down a global summoner. Meanwhile, SLB is still free to push up here in the top wave. And yeah, I mean, Skeletal are going to be still very happy with everything they're getting here. Continue to put pressure on the map. Solo win condition still a bit away, but they have the 2 dragons, and they have plenty of pressure around this Baron. I would like to see SLB maybe move the bot lane, which he is doing, but Boppler is also down there, so he kind of needs to start moving himself. Or is he just going to deny waves to his top laner like an absolute scumbag? It appears to be the case. So, but I you know what? He's looked out for himself. And I guess that's all you can ask for at this point.
He's the primary carry.
True. So, having said that, dragging up in 1 minute 30. It looks like, again, Skeletal trying to put pressure here in the mid lane. There's wave clear from Sivert, instantly deleting waves. There's decent enough wave clear here for Gromp Gobblers, so their tower should be relatively safe. Unless they're afraid of a dive, which doesn't appear to be coming right now. Krusty Pants is waiting in the wings, though.
They're just chilling. Hang on, sorry. I don't have my... I realized I didn't have objective timers in chat on. So I was wondering why is it so quiet in this game. Alright. Anyway, moving on. So, Dragon is up in 1 minute. So, Boppler is kind of like, needs to walk down after this wave. Because he doesn't have TP, so...
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the lane assignments here. But As long as Butler does start to move soon, it should be okay. Will is said to move in towards the crux. I'm not sure about this one.
Okay. They know that they're on the boards and just gonna walk away.
Yeah.
So, but like, Gromp Gobblers does have the vision advantage, so
Yeah, I mean they should
can rotate.
they should know that Butler can't move down towards this, but instead they're opting to try gank the Sivir and the Rel.
On the hunt being used, and Onslaught of Shadows being used, trying to engage here, and Annihilation has forced the flash out. But here comes SLB. Rel being dropped quite low, and unfortunately Cormico is getting dunked down by 3 people with no backup anymore. Butler does get that kill onto Annihilation, but Talkie-Walkie managing to take the kill onto Hecarim. And Squabble trying to hold down SL. Oh, Taki does juke him with the tunnel, and unfortunately SLB has to walk away, licking his wounds, and that is a 4-for-1 for the side of Gromp Gobblers.
Yeah, just trying to figure out exactly what happened there. It just feels like it was maybe a bit of a botch engage coming out from Krusty Pants. Maybe just kind of overforcing, and too many members of Skeletal kind of split apart and not being able to focus on the damage dealers. And yeah, Squavo managed to get in on the back line along with Taki, and they just melted Cormico, who's kind of like the primary damage dealer at this point for this composition. So yeah, Gromp Gobblers got given a bit of a lifeline in this game now, managed to lay the Ocean Soul win condition for Skeletal, get themselves an ocean in their own pocket, get a bit of gold, kind of reset the map state, and yeah, just managed to turn around the game just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that fight was just Skeletal pulling the trigger when they weren't ready to pull the trigger. I guess they were a bit overzealous. They thought, oh, we have like the pincer, but like Renekton was pushing bot lane. Echo was still like at the red buff, walking down. Like when Hecarim tried to press the engage button, but unfortunately they weren't ready.
Yeah. So we'll see now what this means. There is still a lot of vision here for Skeletal. It's pretty hard for Gromp Gobblers to kind of walk in and clear this out. Ultimately, doesn't mean too much though if your mid laner with no TP is sitting bot lane. So Butler really needs to kind of figure out these lane times, because it's kind of costing his team a bit of pressure on the map.
Yeah, Hecarim is going to walk in, face out ward, and Talkie-Walkie is going to spot it. Just going to clear it out. A bunch of waves are being dropped in the top. Shockwave being used. A lot of damage from Orianna. Flashed as well. Krusty Pants is going to go down. A lot of... Yeah, this Orianna is so fed. You can't... Like... I mean... He's just face-checked it. And Boppler is going to get caught out here. Crowd's not going to be used. Boppler dropped very low. Chrono Break going to be used. Zanya's going golden from Orianna, but the Void Assault being used. And Talkie-Walkie and forces Boppler to flash into the waiting arms of Annihilation, and that is the Baron, I believe, now for the side of Gromp Gobblers.
I mean, absolutely right. Jungle's down, mid lane's down. There's no TP on the Renekton. This is absolutely free for Gromp Gobblers, and that's a massive throw coming out from Skeletal. Like, Krusty Pants really overforcing the engage there onto Ploughdig, especially when he got choked out so hard from the initial, skirmish, right? But then he decides to try ult back in and maybe make a pick on Ploughdig, and ultimately gets punished for it extremely hard after. And it's disappointing after such a good early game to kind of see this happening. Gromp Gobblers now will pick themselves up the Baron. Maybe look for picks here on the mid lane.
Hit the NOS button, and TP being used by Orianna. Stormbringer going to be used. And nothing else comes out from that, but, power play. He uses the devastating charge. Onslaught of Shadows managing to hit 3, but unfortunately he doesn't have any follow-up and no damage either. Rel has to being forced to crash down, and Annihilation flash, ult and exhausting in, but unfortunately, Cormico burn flash, and instead of letting them reset, Gromp Gobblers now gets another tower as well as another kill, maybe even 2 kills. Maybe even 2 towers.
Yeah, again, Skeletal kind of pulling the trigger super early on that engage. The rest of the squad not really in position to follow up, and yeah, they're getting punished for it really hard here. Now, Gromp Gobblers should look to reset because they should have like a lot of gold in their pockets, so they don't want to push their lead too hard right now. So So they're going to get the resets in while Squavos pushing the bot lane so they can kind of get their waves synced up. And yeah, I mean, Gromp Gobblers should be in a pretty good position to capitalize off this now. Clouddig is really strong in the Orianna, has 4 items complete. Is going to shred through pretty much anybody on that team, you know? Even the Renekton, who, you know, normally you'd say is like, who is normally like kind of just pseudo tank with the Gore Drinker, has no MR, right? It's literally just got the 1 cloth armor in his inventory right now. So I would expect Clouddig and the Orianna to absolutely shred through him no matter what. And, you know, as much as we were kind of saying, like, you know, Taki kind of put himself in the hole in the early game on his Rek'Sai pick, what had kind of fallen off really hard. If you compare the Ori ball with the kind of the Rek'Sai engage, that's a super useful engage tool that can really kind of set up your team for success. So see now if Gromp Gobblers can try to execute on the mistake coming now from Skeletal. Bit of position here from Legendary, trying to get some vision in towards the dragon. You know, it is a third drake for both teams. It's not like super important. You would kind of like to see Gromp Gobblers have gotten their waves into a better state before this. But they are just trying to get the inside track here on the dragon first, so they do have control river.
It is going to be started. Now we're going to have to take a see who... Well, I guess Krusty Pants isn't going to try and contest this.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It's fine. It's only third dragon. It's not the worst.
Yeah. And that means, like, the waves are pushed in against Gromp Gobblers, and now, like, the Baron's been wasted kind of even further. So it's a smart play for Skeletal, right? Like, they've wasted time on the Baron. They haven't given up, like, a huge amount. Like, obviously, it is Soul Point now, and if Gromp Gobblers do get the Ocean Soul, that is very difficult to deal with. But you kind of have to take that trade at this moment, just because if you force a fight there and you lose versus the Baron buff, you just, like, lose the game straight out. So, let's see now. So no turret's been taken here yet, so not a lot of gold's been captured with this Baron buff so far. And yeah, just kind of waiting to see how the teams will end up playing, like, because it definitely feels, the composition from Skeletal definitely feels a little more harder to execute now, right?
Yeah. I think they got outscaled a little.
Yeah, like the Renekton isn't doing as much damage as you would probably like at this point. As well as, you know, the Hecarim, like if his engage is even slightly desynced from the rest of his team, it's just already over, as we've seen from the last 2 fights. So they really need to kind of be all on the same page when they pull the trigger for this kind of dive-centric comp. Legendary though.
Jerry might be out of position on the hunt being used, and Jerry dropping the death charge. He doesn't have flash, and unfortunately that kill goes over to Kumiko. Rusty walking into the middle of Taki Waki and just burns the Spell Shield. SLB getting hit by the QW from Orianna. He's dropped very low. Dominus being used, and Plato did very nice spacing. The flash Lucius Predator. He does have a lot of damage. Taki Waki does have the tunnel. Unfortunately, Plato flashes over the wall and drops the nice shockwave, meaning Annihilation and Taki Waki can just jump onto them. After burning all those cooldowns onto Orianna, she gets out, and they get 2 kills, which is...
Yeah, it's not great for Skeletal, but, you know, they've actually wasted a lot of the Baron time now. It's completely gone, right? So, Gromp Gobblers didn't really get all that much for that buff. Like, obviously, they're putting themselves at Soul Point, which is, you know, it's a nice win condition in and of itself now, but they've managed to forestall, like, any, like... I think that the most they lost was a tier 2 tower, which might have already been gone if I remember correctly, before the Baron was even taken. Sorry, no, they got it with the power push, that's right. But that's all they lost. They lost 1 single Baron, or tower even. So the gold is still, like, relatively even. They haven't snowballed too much off of that, but we'll have to see now. Can Skeletal kind of use that opportunity to kind of make the correct engage, because there is a Baron buff coming up here in the next 35 seconds. Vision control very much in favor of Gromp Gobblers right now. It's all deep into Skeletal's jungle. They have full knowledge of where they're trying to come from. Jazz and Jerry this time not going too deep by himself, which you love to see.
There are wards are going to get cleared out from the side of for blue team. They are looking for this Nash, which is going to come up right now.
So,
really good.
yeah,
Just a small
Bopper,
dance.
Boppler and SLB on the side lanes. Boppler just trying to get to Prio in top lane. SLB does have TP available. So does Squavo, who's going to meet him.
Crusty Pants. He does have a lot of boost speed, so he's just going to walk away from that.
Yep. So SLB likely still has kill pressure here on this Volibear. So is trying to pressure as much as possible. Is level 18 as well. So it's kind of hitting the peak of his power right about now. But yeah, both sides just kind of posturing, but not really trying to commit either way. They know that the next fight is probably the most crucial one at this point. However, having said that, this kind of favors Gromp Gobblers, right? Because now the Ocean Dragon spawned in 40 seconds. It's their sole win condition that they could very much easily get. Crusty Pants will get spotted out here. But they're not going to commit to an engage, which means Skeletal now do get themselves the inside track and get the setup for the dragon here. Try to deny the soul.
Yeah, they don't have the vision. I do have the small bit of vision here. They're just going to clear out all the vision that Skeletal set up. Waves are pretty much even. They are slightly pushed in the favor of Skeletal, so that if they do end up winning a fight here, they are they have a ticket to get an inhib here.
Yeah.
But mid wave is being pushed in by Annihilation, and Crusty Pants is on that spot on that bot wave. It's a massive wave crashing up now. Let's see how they want to do it. You know, red side are pulling the trigger, so that's Ocean Soul being dropped. Magnet Storm being used, a lot of damage being dropped, and Orianna is taken out of the fight. Annihilation is still in the backline, managing to kite out, a lot of damage being used. Rel flashing on top of her. Double kill for Boppler. Annihilation does flash out. Exhaust being used on the Crusty Pants. He's brought very low though. And Cormico does pick up that kill onto Kaisa Takiwaki, the only one left. But unfortunately, he's just gonna get run down, taken out. Oh, unless no, Boppler just has the Zonyas, and Squabble TPing top lane, starts TPing back mid, and somehow, well, I guess that's just blue team just. Oh, hang on, never mind. Crusty Pants just used the devastating charge on the Squabble. They are looking to die this. Squabble does have Ocean Soul. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any damage to like fend off or any sustain, so like a massive heal there, but unfortunately a flash from Cormico secures that kill. And that is an ace for the side of Skeletal.
What even happened there? Like, so
Well,
red side, Gromp Gobblers tried to burst the dragon, managed to secure themselves the soul very quickly, which is great for them, obviously, but they lose the fight super, super hard off the back of that. Now, ultimately, I don't know if it matters, because all that was translated from that, because the fight took so long after diving this Volibear for some strange reason. They got themselves an inhibitor. So now Gromp Gobblers is going to be mostly actually back on the map for this Baron fight. Squavo is 8 seconds away, doesn't have TP, so, you know, if Skeletal, you know, after losing the Ocean Soul, you probably wanted to get something more substantial than just an inhibitor. I would have reckoned the Baron would be better. And they probably won't even get the kind of fight that they want now, because Gromp Gobblers will have all 5 members with Ocean Soul for this Baron fight.
Yeah, and only one anti-heal item as well, so you know, their healing is going to be rather uncontested, even though it is on a Sivir. Like, it's not enough.
Yeah, it's very strange, kind of how that's all played out. So Plowdig in the bot lane, only one person on Gromp Gobblers with the TP available, so kind of forced to stay here against the super waves. Meanwhile, SLB trying to pressure the top side as much as possible.
He does spot the Nash being started by Hecarim, and they attempt to face check this. They do have a blast, sorry, not a blast plant. They have the vision plant being dropped, and he is going to get spotted by the Void Seeker. Now, Orianna does have the TP. Where is she TPing to? Just TPing right to her team.
Okay, honestly, that's like pretty decent now for Skeletal, right? They've after forcing out the TP. Super Wave is going to push into bot lane.
Yeah, Annihilation. Oh, okay, sorry, never mind. Annihilation was walking up, but he does have his team to back him up.
Now, if they can defend their mid wave here, it's not going to be too bad for Skeletal. There isn't much of a wave here, and their wave clear is okay. It will be much better once the Sivir arrives. Yep. So yeah, honestly, that's a big win for Skeletal. As long as they're... Oh my god, never mind.
Massive shockwave being used by Orianna, picks up Boppler, and that's a free Baron now. Huge
Holy
catch.
moly. That is
Not protecting that
massive
ball.
damage. I did not realize Cloud had actually finished the deck cap, so he's full build already, and he showed it there with massive damage versus the Echo. Yeah, it gives him more or less a free ticket for this Baron now, because Crusty Fans also got chunked out from that play. Now, it is still a bit awkward because there's super waves in their base that they have to answer. Skeletal try to also answer by pushing in mid wave, so they are trying to mitigate the cost of this Baron as much as possible, but it's Baron buff, it's Ocean Soul, with a composition that's pretty much outscaled their team. Skeletal don't have a lot of options left to them at this point.
Yeah. They just have to wait until that Baron is gone, and then when Gromp Gobblers are sieging, they have Echo, they have Sivir to like push out those waves. But I feel like when they have to fight is when Elder spawns. Unfortunately, their Nash is flash being used by SLB, and another flash being used by Orianna, but he does get hit by the shockwave. Crusty Fans onslaught of shadows being missed, and that is a shutdown for the side of Gromp Gobblers. Unfortunately, Annihilation 1v2 in the mid lane does pick up Cormico, and Echo just got exhausted, but healed his entire health bar back up.
I mean, yeah.
Taki is spotted. I don't know why he used the void. He just revealed himself for no reason, and what is all being used, and I guess he stopped his recalls, but Boppler unfortunately doesn't have the chrono break, but it was a good way to stop the recalls. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. Actually, no. He will be up in time for Elder, but he will be just coming out of base by then. So it depends on how Skeletal will execute this now.
Yeah, it's some really nutty kind of map positioning going on here. Like, Annihilation barreling down mid lane ends up pulling off the 1v2 versus Boppler and Cormico. So ends up getting the inhibitor, whereas Cloudig and Taki do give their lives in trying to exchange some kills and stopping the recalls. So yeah, some crazy trades going on here. Ultimately, right now, kind of in favor of Skeletal. They've got better positioning on most of their waves, except for top. They've got the inside track here on the Elder Dragon. It is going to be quite scary going against this Ocean Soul squad from Gromp Gobblers, but if they can make the right pick, they can definitely try to close out the game with the Elder buff.
Annihilation does have flash, Padodig doesn't, but Shockwave being used, unfortunately, is only going to hit the Rel, and Padodig feared, and flash engaged from Rel, Magnustorm keeping Orianna in place, and nothing can stop that dive. Unfortunately, and SLB in the middle of the fight, Annihilation caught out again. That is another kill, Taki flashing out, double kill for SLB, another flash from Cormico, and Taki goes down, and that is a triple kill for SLB. And that is the game for Skeletal.
Yeah, like, that Hecarim Rel combo came in so clutch at the end there, making that consecutive picks on both Plowdig and Annihilation. Like, you saw the Rel link go off twice there. CCing so many people, and yeah, it's just perfect engages. It's exactly what we were saying about the kind of engage from this Skeletal squad earlier. Like, it's very hard to deal with if they can like pull it, if they get the engage correct, right? But like, fair play to Gromp Gobblers, they capitalized on a lot of mistakes coming out from Skeletal. It was not a clean game, and they nearly had it in the pocket. I think just at the end, their vision and their kind of positioning around the map let them down, and kind of let them to be exposed and ganked or picked off essentially by Krusty and Mandizu. So yeah, very very exciting game one from this squad, from these two teams actually. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that I'm looking forward to 2 more games.
Yeah, that was a really hypey game actually. Very back and forth. Now I am a fan of proper standard coordinated like one-sided play. Getting that, showing like the enemy team that you're better, like you know how to execute your lead, you know how to snowball. But even though I like that, this kind of game is also very fun as well.
Yeah, and Cloudig tried to put this game on his back so much. Like, look at this damage coming out from him.
Yeah.
Like nearly 36k from the Orianna. Like, he did his absolute best after some questionable early plays, we'll say, from Taki and Jerry, kind of getting themselves caught out just a little bit. But yeah, no, great first game, good performance from both teams at times, and we'll see what happens in game 2. So we'll be back shortly, guys. Should be up to game 2 in a little bit. And welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of the Losers Bracket semi-final between Gromp, Gobblers and Skeletal after a banger of a first game that was quite back and forth from both teams. You know, not the cleanest, but still enjoyable to watch. Joined again by Hi as we get into pick a bands here. If Hi is awake.
Oh, no, I'm here. I'm just, just not much going on. Just
Yeah.
the standard bans. Udyr being taken away because he's a broken piece of shit.
Yep.
And Kindred being banned away because she's a broken piece of shit.
Yep. No, Raj, you cannot. But having said that, yeah, I mean, not surprising to see these bands still being targeted at the one tricks, as it were. And I have to say, overall, I'm quite surprised by the level of play I've seen come out from Crusty Pants, especially in the early game. In game one, he kind of like really outperformed Taki to a much higher degree than I was really expecting, and he will get himself that heck room again. So we'll see now if he can kind of continue that performance here into game two, and what kind of answers Taki is going to have. I don't know if we'll see the Rek'Sai again. I'm expecting maybe to go towards something else, perhaps.
I think the Rek'Sai pick was okay. It's just that I think Taki kind of mental boomed after the first gank. That got kind of scuffed. So like she got put far behind, and just proceeded to power farm. And you know what? Power farming is also a good idea. Shyvana gonna please block in Shyvana. Please don't block in Shaco. Yes. Okay. Now it's just gonna be a nice game where everyone just farms for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's we have heard rumors of the talkie-walkie Shyvana jungle. So haven't seen it yet in a competitive game. Was interested to see how he ends up pulling it off. Also Xayah grabbed very early on for Annihilation. So feels like maybe he needs more of those kind of defensive tools against like what seems to be like a lot of backline dive coming out from Skeletal. So we'll see if they opt into that playstyle again, because into Xayah it can be very tough if misexecuted, because she can punish that super harshly. They do instead grab themselves the Victor for Boppler, which has been more of a comfort pick for him throughout the tournament. So not too surprised to see him back on there. However, it does mean that the Echo is given over to Plowdig, which is one of his preferred champions right now in mid lane. So we'll see how he can perform after having a really good game one on the Orianna. So an Echo could definitely be more of a proactive pick. So we'll see what he ends up doing with it here. Also, the Nautilus denied away from Legendary. See now what they end up banning here on the second rotation.
Now I like this comp. I wouldn't say I like, but I can see the value of this comp that Red Side have drafted. Very late game focused, so like there's not going to be a lot of fighting. So there's a lot of, it's very late game focused. They're gonna try and scale as best they can, getting those dragons whenever they can, I guess. But like SLB will probably know. Sorry, not SLB. Krusty will know this, and he's gonna try and get early dragons, trying to slow down that Shyvana scaling.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see Alistair also picked up here as a nice kind of peel tool to go alongside Legion's own peel tools? Also can obviously offer like backline engage with the Echo, so having that kind of dive buddies there. So we're kind of seeing Gobblers pick up a comp not too dissimilar to what we saw out of Skeletal in the last game. But obviously with scaling on their side. Ezreal picked up here for Cormico, not something I've seen him play an awful lot. It's very defensive minded, so seems like they're kind of trying to play this 2v2 safe enough here. And then Renekton picked up again for SLB, not too surprising. He had a really good game on it in the first one. We'll see if Squavo has anything that he can answer that with in the top lane.
Yeah, so Ezreal Victor. There's going to be quite a lot of damage. Well, they won't have a lot of... Is Ezreal a burst or a DPS champion now with that new build? I actually don't remember. I actually don't know.
Oh, the Essence Reaver build. Is it?
Yeah, Essence Reaver Duskblade.
I haven't seen it enough to really tell. It seems like he just spikes earlier. Because you can get crit off the Q. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when exactly what his kind of like spikes are as such. But it seems good. I won't deny that. And it definitely seems like a bit of a mixed bag that Skeletal have this time. Like, you've got Ezreal for poke, you've kind of Victor for zone control, but then you also have Hecarim and Renekton who want to just dive into the back. And then, Nautilus who can kind of act as, your other form of engage / peel. So they've definitely not committed to, like, kind of one hard identity like they did the last competition.
Uh,
Like, before they had, like the Hecarim, the Renekton, but they also had Echo, Sivir, and Rel, right? Like that. There's pretty much only one thing that competition wants to do. Like, it's press
yeah.
R and go. Like it's
Mhm.
all engage. Um, whereas it's definitely a bit more varied this time. But I'm just curious to see if that kind of works for them, or you know, if they can actually kind of still play on the same page. If you get what
Yeah.
I mean.
It's going to be a lot harder because the
Yeah.
hacker won't have like that backup anymore.
Mm.
He'll have the Nautilus, and yeah, he may have the Renekton, but he won't have that. He doesn't have that Rel, that Sivir, which he kind of prefers. He has the Ezreal and Victor prefer to like sit in that backline poke with
Yeah.
their Qs and Es. I think they have to go for like a pseudo kind of peel, or at least what Nautilus and Renekton need to do, right? They kind of have to fight front to back for a bit. Uh, Unfortunately, I think Zaya does outscale Ezreal, so it
Yeah.
depends on how far ahead the bot and mid get. Well, depends on whose bot and mid gets ahead first. So
Yeah, so at the moment can definitely be a monster in the late game when she hits her like her 3 items and her 4 items. Just shreds through targets so quickly, and then obviously offers so much zone control in her own right. But yeah, we'll see how these two comps end up working out. We'll go to a quick break as we let Spectre Lake catch up, and we'll be back in a little bit, guys. And welcome back, everyone, to Game 2 of the Sarah referred to semi-final of the losers bracket, as we do go into a game opening pause, as is tradition, at least once per Irish tournament game. So not too much surprised there. But yeah, I'm very excited for this game because unfortunately for us it is only just a best of three. Before we do go into those final two best of fives for the tournament. So Gromp Gobblers on their last life here for the entire tournament. Have a lot of pressure here, especially on the back of Taki with his this rumored Tribana pick that we have seen. He has taken press attack, so likely going for this kind of AD Bruisers build, I would assume. Um,
I would. It's a weird mix.
yeah,
You have tank stats with the Frostfire. You have AP from Nashor's Tooth. You have the attack speed. You have AD from Sterex, the HP. So like he's just going for a giant ball of like stats, and I think he's
yeah,
trying to go for the old, like the really old Shyvana, like the one where like you just get like really far ahead and you just 1v5 stat check people, like when with
yeah.
the old State Devourer.
So, well, yeah, we'll have to see if he can pull that off because if he doesn't, there's a lot less playmaking tools here, even compared to something like the Rek'Sai. Um, Later on in the game, where at least you have like Flash on Burrow,
Mm-hmm.
with that Oriana ball to kind of shockwave to make plays with. Yeah, it definitely feels like they need Snowball, in a lot of different ways. I don't really have many other tools if that does fail.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so see if Taki can pull it off. Um, just trying to see if there's a reason why we are paused. Um, yeah, nothing, nothing as far as I can see. So just have to wait until everyone's back.
Yep. I'm gonna grab some chocolates. Just 1 second.
Go ahead.
I don't know if Crimson is back yet, but game is now underway. Tyler
Hey,
Jake playing
back.
on.
Sorry,
just
just
in
back
time.
just in time with
Yeah.
some fresh water to see the teams resume. Apologies for that, guys. But yeah, standard 5-man spread coming out. Both teams tension probably quite high here. As you know, Gromp Gobblers still trying to stay in tournament, whereas Skeletal only one game away from getting themselves into that best of 5 losers final. So see how it ends up shaking up here. But right now,
I just look at. Sorry, I'm just like looking at the ADCs, right?
uh-huh.
And I'm thinking to myself, God, those ADCs feel so boring to me.
Yeah,
I mean, like, okay, I know.
no
where
offense to
people
Blank, who does main.
yeah,
these
no,
two
this isn't a dig
champions.
up. I know those are like his 2 favorite champions, but like,
Yeah.
no, I just don't have the fun. I don't have fun playing traditional ADCs. I know Ezreal isn't a traditional ADC, but like, I can't
Yeah.
hit skill shots. So if I can't play him, he's shit, right?
Yeah. I mean,
The
yeah,
classic ego.
you can tell that both these picks were made with like kind of very defensively in mind, kind of given the abilities that they both possess and kind of the context of their compositions. But yeah, I mean, look, obviously everyone loves to see a bit of Kaisa, a bit of Aphelios or some Mira and things like that. But like, ultimately, both ADCs feeling like they're not getting a lot done in fights. So they kind of need, or at least with the kind of competition that they're going against, it's very difficult. So they're just trying to pick around that. Legendary does get level 2 first here.
Oh, big engage. Ignite gonna be dropped. Actinus has the hit level 2, so we hit the shield from Miko using the arcane shift forward, and nice trade for Legendary. Oh, in the mid lane, Paladin. That's how you trade on Echo. Look at that. On 100 ping as well.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of pressure coming out here from the bot lane and the mid lane of Gromp Gobblers, which you'd like to see. Oh no.
Lake Collar being dropped. Nice flash pulverize from Legendary, unfortunately. Does get CC chained by Nautilus, so not able to fully get that headbutt out.
Yeah, but no flash.
Nice damage.
And heal this early on Carmichael. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah.
Very vulnerable to early ganks, this Echo, even when he will get level 3 and get his get that arcane shift.
Red Giant, nice. Annihilation, quite low in mana, but he does have the health bot taking.
Yeah. Also, I believe has I think he has inspiration, so he probably has biscuits as well, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, I think he's going to be fine for mana. He's able to kind of shove in the waves pretty naturally with a bit of help from Jerry. And yeah, they're looks like
mid lane gank. Rusty Pants dropping. Nice. Yeah, Gravity Field being dropped, and Paladin has the flash out of that.
Yeah, Squabble.
FOB, nice damage. Talkie does catch Krusty though. Is the PTA. I'm not sure what Krusty's doing. He's running circles around Shyvana while she auto attacks him.
Yeah.
Poplar flashes as well. And what?
Yeah.
I'm so confused by that.
Yeah, maybe Krusty's just not familiar with the kind of damage that Shyvana can output. Maybe he's trying to delay for Poplar to room over, but Poplar was low on mana anyway, so the chance of being able to burst out was pretty low to begin with. And yeah, they end up getting punished for it. No flash in mid lane. No life for Krusty fans. Early kill over to this Shyvana is going to feel a little scary now. Isaki does get the Bami Cinder on his first back, will help with his wave clear immensely. Or his camp clear, I should say. And also those trades later on, if he ends up going back into those kind of skirmish style.
I don't know what's going on, but Squab is right now underneath SLB's tower. Flash Ruthless Predator, and Squabble being dropped very low. I was about to say, Squab with the big balls this game, like, pushing, this time he's pushing SLB, but I guess it was just a massive bait, and that kill goes over to Krusty Pants.
I mean, there's pressure being just being put out from all three lanes from Gromp Gobblers here. Unfortunately, one of them does get punished.
Nice Hex Flash. Unfortunately, I don't think Annihilation has the mana or the position to follow up on that one.
Nope, not this time around. Ignite is coming back up for Legendary though, so he can make that, a similar play once again. Wave is kind of crashing in. Health bar is still really low for the spot lane on Skeletal. Looks like they're gonna not opt into that for now. They're content to keep shoving waves in, try to deny Ezreal as much farm as possible, maybe chunk away a plate or two. And yeah, also this amount of pressure just gives Taki in the meantime just free time to take the dragon with no contest. So
yep,
Gromp Gobblers playing a lot more aggressive this game, and they're making it work for themselves.
They are looking for a dive, but Krusty does get spotted on the ward, so Gromp Gobblers are just gonna walk away from that. Nice trade up with the top lane. SLB getting hit by the QWE combo.
Yeah, just respect's been shown. They don't want to try give over kills to Krusty Pants again in the early game, who was quite a monster. Kind of carried his team into those like really strong kind of mid game fights, and ultimately made the crucial picks at the end of the game to kind of win out. So if you can avoid giving Hecarim that much power, it's always nice to have. But right now, not too much happening. Backs just going off here from both sides, kind of resets going off. Not too much being grabbed here for Cormico. Does get himself Lucidity Boots and the Longsword with a couple of pots, so just trying to sustain the lane as much as possible. Does get denied a full wave under a cert though and a plate, so Annihilation starting to build up that lead quite substantially.
Oh, and I think just walking up. Nice bit of just throwing out the Q. And I think at this point, I'm pretty sure, as far as I remember, Echo's like wave clear at level 7 is just Q the back wave, and I'm pretty sure they die with that AP. There's like no need to auto attack or Q a second time. I'm pretty sure the back line of minions just like kill over. So that's really good for like in terms of getting priority in lanes. Oh, sorry, getting priority. Oh, never mind. Guess he needs level 9 first.
Oh, Taki has had a cross defense out.
Yeah, PTA going to be used, and unfortunately he's going to be dropped very low. Taki does have ulti. Stormbringer going to be used, and Taki's going to has the flame breath soon. TP mid being used, and both teams are just going to walk away after all their ults have been used. So
yeah, but I mean, ultimately Krusty Pants will be happy with that to get away with his life and force out a TP from Planet Egg. So that's one map tool down for the side of Skeletal. In the meantime, they probably could have gone for this Herald, to be honest, because they had push in mid and top. Looks like Taki might be looking towards that now, using the Blast Pan to kind of jump over to avoid being spotted out.
Like this is nice. So this is what you want. I think Takiwaki got his ideal situation. Like he got an early solo kill, which gives him loads of XP because of the not recent but the changes where getting solo kills, the solo kill XP is worth.
Yeah, Krusty is flanking mid here now.
Oh, nice chip, nice engage. Planetic does have flash and ult, so unfortunately Boppler's also so there's not much he can do.
Yeah,
but
also
he just gets to walk away.
Echo ult was still available, so Planetic definitely had tools to be able to at least stall out that gank there. And Taki was nearby, so maybe lucky enough that Krusty didn't overforce that, because it could have probably been punished for pretty harshly without any mana on the Victor to back him up. So yeah, I mean, as you said, Taki going to be feeling pretty happy with the state of the game so far.
Yeah,
he's got himself that Herald now. He can look to make possibly another gank up anywhere really. Maybe even try to look around towards bot lane. That's put out so much pressure against the Ezreal and the Nautilus, so maybe you can start moving the Xayah elsewhere around, like make picks or try and chunk down turrets. Obviously having that wave clear with Xayah is really nice. See what he ultimately ends up doing. Just kind of power farming his own jungle now. Has picked himself up the Sork Boots, which is an interesting one. So kind of wants the extra pen on the Flame Breath and Dragon Form out of here.
Oh, Annihilation. Nice little trade there.
Also picking himself up or I don't know if he started with it, the Dark Seal. No, he wouldn't have started with it obviously because he's jungle. So yeah, maybe a little cheeky, but obviously works with the pot as well very nicely.
I thought they removed that passive. They removed the healing that you get from pots.
Is that correct? They must have. Oh, I didn't even know that. Fair enough.
Oh, hang on a second. Legendary does have ult, but unfortunately I don't think he's tanky enough. Oh, flashes his face into the wall, and that kill's gonna go over to Nautilus as the igniting. So Bobbler does find Shyvana, but there's nothing gonna be done, and Bobbler drops the Chaos Storm as in a fit of an emotional rage.
I mean, he does get.
Yeah, that Herald. Oh wait, Dig is tanking the tower, but now it's just gonna be the Herald running 160 gold for both mid and jungle. Cormico looking to. Oh, Dig does find SLB. Dig does have flash over. Cormico flashing straight after him, and Dig does have the blast plan to get away. SLB does have ways of catching up to him, but I think he's just gonna leave that for Cormico as Dig, there's no end in sight, and oh my god, the ghost being used by Krusty. He really wants this kill, and Krusty's gonna. Honestly, if you were to ADC, you'd FF. But as a jungler, I would say that's worth. Very
yeah, well. Unfortunately, because they chased him so deeply, it actually gives Gromp Gobblers a chance to sneak away
maybe
the dragon.
not. Krusty Pants does have Onslaught of Shadows going to be used, and he steals the dragon away from Talkie-Walkie. Unfortunately, CC chain, so he's not able to use that ult or flash away. TP being used by SLB as well, and he's just going to recall, and Legendary brought very low. As real shooting Mystic shots, and I think that is it. So a 1-for-0 from that dragon fight, and a dragon stolen, so that's another mental boom for the side of Gromp Gobblers.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2-for-0 because they got the kill onto Dig as well, just outside their base, and then rotated over to the Dragon Pit as quick as they could. So yeah, well played to manage to take that back. Didn't end up getting punished for it whatsoever. And yeah, Gromp Gobblers, after like a really nice proactive early game, have kind of, again, shown a bit of mis-execution and has kind of given Skeletal a way back in here, managing to get themselves a very small lead overall, it has to be said, but, you know, still 2-1-2 on the Hecarim, you know, kind of starting to see a repeat of the last game. A lot of gold going towards Krusty here, who is getting towards that training force. Probably already has it, actually, on his next back. So it's going to be in a pretty strong position for these next fights.
Now, the Hecarim, you know, that kill coming into good use. You know, he's going to snowball now. He's going to get that Triforce really soon, which is a nice spike to get on Hecarim around 13 to 14 minutes. What else is there? Not much. Everyone hasn't got their Mythic yet, so no. Next fight isn't going to be until... Well, next big fight isn't going to be until the Mythics are bought. SLB dropping Dominus.
Now, you could, like, maybe see a fight around the Herald, which is in 1-20. We'll see what the teams end up opting in to do here. There are no TPs available for top laners. SLB is looking for his reset now before the Herald does spawn.
What the fuck? He actually was able to walk out of it. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That's weird. But yeah, kind of everyone's kind of got back to resets, the farming. You do see some vision pushed up here for the side of Gromp Gobblers, so they're trying to get their wards in early, get the setup that they want for the Herald. Meanwhile, they will also likely just lose bot lane here, or mid lane.
Oh, Onslaught of Shadow's going to be used, and Dig does have the ult to get out. Unfortunately, of course, Pants does have the devastating charge. He is going to get knocked into parallel convergence. Doesn't get stunned though. Unfortunately, I don't think he has any. Oh, he does have the damage, and Dragon Descent being used, and Taki is going to pick up this nice shutdown for himself. Unfortunately, Krusty doesn't have the unless he... What? There's no way. No. Oh, you have to be so sad. The challenging smite and the healing from Conquer and the Spirit of Dread was enough to keep Krusty Pants alive for Bobbler to come in and help him secure that kill.
I think I just saw Taki's resolve just fly out the window. The mental boom may come to full effect. That is going to be a full tilt, I'm afraid. Has managed to finish off that Frostfire Gauntlet. So is like still decently strong, but he's not going to be happy about that one. That is a 2-for-0 for Krusty Pants. Does absolutely get away with it. By the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, he
And
got away. I honestly will say it's all planned. Make
yeah.
him feel better.
Yeah, I mean, like, it does seem to be jungle diff, apparently.
Oh,
Crusty
Rusty
Pants.
Pants. Going in, Legendary has the Unbreakable Will, does have face rushes. Oh, sorry, doesn't have face rush. He has the speed to get away. Annihilation, get caught by the Dreadline. Crusty Pants picks up that kill. Cormico, Arcane shifting in, E in.
Jerry, why are you still here?
Another E in from Krusty Pants and another kill, double kill for Krusty Pants.
No, not like this. The tilt is setting in across the whole team. Why Jerry could have just walked away instead of to try make a play under the turret, but like no HP, and gives another kill over to Skeletal, who built up a 2k gold lead now. It's looking rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like the Shyvana is not ahead. Yes, Raj, it is a best of 3. As I've said multiple times. It's yeah, so the Shyvana is very far behind this Hecarim. It's 5-1 and 3. It's massive. They do not have as many kind of great team fighting tools as they did in the last game. And also, like, yeah, they've got scaling, I guess, but it's much harder to kind of defend against the push, right? Like, so it's not like Echo has great wave clear against Baron minions, right? If they ever were to concede that. Like, Zaya's okay for it, but like, yeah, like, honestly, like, just the difference in power between the two junglers alone just kind of makes this feel pretty rough for Gromp Gobblers.
Yeah. Now, neither top laners have TPs, so SLB does have the temp, does get the first back off, so he, oh, never mind, he sticks around just to prevent that wave from freezing, so that means Squavo gets the first back, and I think both top laner CPs will be up by the time, they're just not backing, they just really don't want to fight for this dragon. But they do have TPs up, so unfortunately Squabble is half health, half mana. But I think Gromp Gobblers are just going to give this dragon up to Skeletal here. Not much they can do in terms of, you know, because they are quite behind in terms of items. Everyone has a mythic, but Krusty is very, very far ahead of Shyvana, so.
Yeah, it's feeling very strong at the moment. Hockey does get himself to top crab, but cannot look at this Herald at all, as there's no one on the map here to support him. Will end up getting chased off. So it looks like Krusty will end up going for it himself. Will be spotted out by the Skull Vision, but I don't think there's an awful lot Hockey can do about that. Unless he tries to make up for shield.
Brought by SLB. He does get it off. Feather Storm going to be used and Flash as well. SLB is caught between 3 people. He does have the damage. Flash queuing. Unfortunately, the Stormbringer is going to destroy that tower. And that's a kill going up to Annihilation. Unfortunately, how far, what costs though? Ezreal flashing over the wall. Unfortunately, Squab was able to tank all of those Mystic shots, and he managed to live by the skin of his teeth. Onslaught of Shadow is going to be used, unfortunately hitting no one, but Bobbler does pick up that kill, and another kill for Krusty Pants. Echo is in the backline, unfortunately not able to get out of this one, and that is a 3-for-3 even trade, which is actually not bad for Gromp Gobblers.
No, it was a really weird extended fight. Taki also going to get himself a turret here in the mid lane. So gold actually pretty much going in favor of Gromp Gobblers for sure here now. And maybe even has time to possibly go for the Herald. Obviously not said, like, only has a minute left, so maybe doesn't want to risk it with all the vision that's in the area that he's probably aware of. But yeah, Annihilation also played that fight like really cleanly. Managed to kind of space out from like with his kind of tank front line to avoid getting picked up by the Ezreal. Did a lot of work with that Feather Storm in the end to get himself some kills. So doing decent. Now has the Kraken Slayer complete along with the Caulfield Warhammer. So scaling decently. We also do see the Ezreal, who is actually, as you said, has opted into this Essence Reaver build that we've been seeing more recently. So kind of interested to see kind of what kind of damage Cormico can do there. He had a decent fight. Ultimately wasn't able to find the targets that he wanted in the end. Still only assists to his name, so he's going to feel pretty bad about that. Especially about the kill. We did see Krusty Pants kind of yoink from him earlier. But yeah, Skeletal continuing to push their lead here. Are going to use this Herald in mid lane to try possibly open the tier 2. Aren't likely to get it because they don't have a wave to support this. But we'll settle for just a bit of damage here.
Shyvana actually currently out CSing by 20 CS. ahead of Krusty. Now, it's not a lot considering the amount of kills that Hecarim has, but
Yeah.
it's eventually, so long as they don't give any more kills to Skeletal. Oh my god, Annihilation, huge amount of damage with Waystorm going to be dropped, and the SLB might go down. Oh, never mind. Krusty Pants coming in with the clutch play. Another half a second, and that Blade Caller would have actually just killed SLB.
And I was going to say, like, it was only actually a 1k gold lead for Krusty Pants.
Oh, I got Krusty Pants dropping in. Parallel Convergence and Gravity Field going to be used, and Squabble just going to stand there and just beats the shit out of Krusty Pants. Shutdown going over to Plateau Dig. Fortunately, Bobbler picks up double kill under that tower.
Yeah, just kills going back and forth here. It's still very much in favor of Skeletal here. They will get themselves a top tier here. They're getting pressure in the bot lane.
Walkie walkie. Dragon's Descent going to be used. SLB doesn't have the dominance to keep himself alive. Legendary. WQ. Massive big combo. Unfortunately, I don't think Taki wants to fight it. I think they're just going to walk away from this move.
Yeah. It doesn't really slow down here at the moment. Gromp Gobblers are looking for ways to try claw themselves back into the game off these back of these plays that Skeletal are making. Ultimately, do not find the punish and haven't lost their tougher quite yet, but it's just kind of a matter of time at this point as they do back off here and did lose her in the bot lane. So Skeletal continuing to mount a bit of gold in their favor. Before that all started, I was trying to make the point that it didn't feel like Krusty Pants was actually that much in the lead. Like, he is only like 1.5k golden lead now. But after he did make that big shutdown pick onto Annihilation, so is still very scary. He has his 2 items complete now with the Death Stance and the Triforce, looking towards the Dead Man's Plate, looks like, as he's picked up the Winged Moon Plate. So is going to be very, very difficult to deal with, even with the Zaya's self peel from the Featherstorm ulti. But right now, Gromp Gobblers, they're getting a lot of vision control here in the bot river for this dragon to come up in the next 10 seconds. We'll see if they can set up a play to maybe make a pick here.
Well, Parallel Convergence dropped. They don't have blue side don't have a lot of vision. They're just going to start this straight away. Bobbler isn't close enough to the fight yet, but unfortunately they are going to be spotted in that ward in the pixel push. So they know exactly where red team is. Annihilation chunked out pretty heavily from that death ray, and then massive engage. Featherstorm going to be used, but that means there's no way out if they dump everything onto him. And there we go. Victor just takes out Zaya. Massive stun from the gravity field actually, and everyone on red side are just going to drop from from Victor. And that is a clean, well, not a clean, sorry, a 5 for 1 in the side of Skeletal.
Into a pause. Yeah, but like that was really unfortunate for Gromp Gobblers there. Like, the wombo just came through.
Yeah.
For Skeletal, like, especially as you said, that gravity field that managed to CC, I think at least 3 targets.
I think it's stunned all 4. That's all just
4,
got stunned and just couldn't move. Yeah.
Yeah, all 4 at once, and then there's so much CC and damage layered on top of that. It's just absolutely nutty. Gets themselves the second dragon, which they'll be happy enough about to delay that soul kind of win condition that Gromp Gobblers were trying to hold on to with their dragon lead. But ultimately will now transition them into a Baron. Very easy to get because there's no one alive on the side of Gromp Gobblers, and there's just waves pushing for Skeletal as well. So it's already map's already set up for them to kind of utilize this Baron.
Yeah, that's the thing. That was like when Annihilation got dropped to half HP and Krusty Pants saw that. As every jungler should do nowadays. When they see that ADC like out of position, very low, you just turn on the NOS and you just go straight at them.
Yep.
Zaya only has only one way to like get rid of that, to get off those cybers. And he did have flash, but I assume it came up after he died. But once that Featherstorm goes down, you're pretty much a sitting duck if you don't have like the proper peel. Unfortunately, you can't really stop. Well, the whole team just throwing everything at you.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and there's not an awful lot of peel for him here. Like, obviously the Alistar is there, but the Alistar can't do much against a Hecarim that is invulnerable to CC during that ulti. Can't has the locket, but ultimately that item doesn't feel like it really does an awful lot these days. In terms of like the shielding it provides, so pretty rough position for the bot lane of Gromp Gobblers. They are going to get pushed in 3 different lanes. TP is available for SLB and for Bopplers, so they can kind of continue this 1-3-1 that they've set themselves up for. And yeah, it's difficult now for Gromp Gobblers. They kind of need to be very decisive in where they kind of try to force their play to like at least stop them from like just completely losing their base, right?
Mm-hmm.
They will make a pick here on Manizu.
Flashing in, Nautilus getting caught out, Dredgeline going to be used, Death Heart as well, and Boppler is going to be 1v1 by Annihilation, never mind. Boppler's way too fed, and Dragon Descent going to be used. Unfortunately, flashes a little into the range of Talkie-Walkie's Flame Breath and Krusty Pants Red Smite. He's just not getting out of this one. The whole Goon Squad just showed up out of the woodworks to take him out. Lado Dig walking into the Dredge on him. He does have the ult to get out though. Squabbo, no ulti unfortunately. With that Nash, they are going to push this now.
Yeah, and as we were saying earlier, the wave clear with Echo versus Baron buff is super rough to kind of make happen, so they will end up losing this third unless they just die for the dive.
Krusty taken quite low, and Planetic picks up that shutdown, and Nautilus is tanking the tower. No flash, no ulti to get out of this one. And unfortunately, that kill is going over to Squabbo, and they kind of like overextended way too hard there. Got it way too big for the bridges, and
yeah, Skeletal getting really sloppy there. They had pretty much everything that they would want, but they end up getting impatient and forced to dive, and do end up getting punished for it. As you said, Shutdown Gold going to Planetic is the last person you probably want to do it for at this point. You know,
I mean, if you have to choose between an Alistar, an Echo, and a Volibear, I honestly would just pick the Echo. Or well, like I just like I tried my best to not give it anyway in the first place, but
yeah, like honestly, all Skeletal had to do there was, as you say,
SLB does have flash. Talking no ulti, no flash, but he does have the blast plant. God bless Infernal Rift. Butler, no flash either. He's gonna get caught out of position, and that's a lot of CC gonna be dropped onto him. It does go golden. Unfortunately, I don't think it might be enough. Gravity Field is gonna be dropped down. Aladik picks up another kill, but SLB has the dominance, and they're all quite low. Oh, Cormical CC Jane eating in Mr. But that ain't Kevin, man. Got to make that joke twice today. Krusty Pants going in. Unfortunately, Deadly Jerry does not have the flash or any form of CC. The Death Heart's gonna find him, and Krusty Pants picks up that kill for himself.
Yeah, so just kills been going back and forth here. In the meanwhile, Annihilation was just firing away in topside. He's desperately trying to hit his third item on Desire, trying to make himself relevant for this late game, which is, you know, between himself and Cloudig on the Echo are kind of like the only win conditions left here for Gromp Gobblers.
Yeah.
They are getting kills, they are getting gold, they are stalling out the game. And Skeletal, as you said, kind of getting too big for the britches, like making very sloppy mistakes here. When really the end was in sight, you know, like definitely the 2-0 was definitely on the cards there after that last fight in the top lane. So yeah, now the dragon is going to spawn. It is going to be third dragon for either side. So obviously,
ooh, they are going to face check this. Not what you want to do. Nautilus gonna has flash though. Is he tanky enough? Planetic forced to use the ulti. Out of respect, he does have flash. He does have the blast gun, so he's just gonna buy some time, Krusty Pants.
Yeah, but now he's completely zoned out of this fight. Does have TP, so maybe he TP's in.
Storm gonna be dropped. Onslaught Shadow is gonna be used. Annihilation being forced to use the Feather Storm and Squabble ulting into the backline, and that was enough peel for Krusty Pants going down. Unfortunately, Shyvana does go down, and that's a double kill. That's a double kill for Cormico. Unfortunately, no more cease, no more ulti to get out of that cease. That die from Renekton. Dig TPing in, and that is another kill for Boppler. And that is a 3 for 2 for the... No, sorry, 4 for 2 in the favor of Skeletal.
Yeah, Plowdig got to that fight so late. Like, it was looking so good for Annihilation there. He managed to use the first one perfectly to avoid the Hecarim CC from the Onslaught of Shadows. Also got the peel from Squabble, which he's going to be very grateful for. But there was, after that, like, as soon as like the Renekton was able to get into the backline, he just had nothing left to get away from him.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, after that, because Plowdig wasn't in the fight, there was just no damage to continue on. So ultimately, Gromp Gobblers do lose the fight. And they lost the dragon too. So Soul win condition also here on the cards for Skeletal. After it's kind of a scary couple throws there, it looks like they are back kind of in the winning position. Because they will now get themselves control on this Baron River. They will have pressure if they don't manage to secure that. They can just wait for the the Infernal Soul, which will be super good for them. And yeah, looking pretty good for Skeletal right now.
They're setting up this Nash. Blue side does have the vision advantage. They have the priority in the mid lane. Waves are, they're dead even. But Squabble is gonna push that bot lane out, and SLB is gonna respond in kind.
Yeah, in the meantime, Nolation just trying to pick up whatever farm he can, is quite close to probably finishing off the IE. But is not going to get that in time for what looks like going to be a force in the Baron here from Skeletal.
Yeah. They both top laners have TPs. I think they know, or they're oh no, sorry, they don't know. They're just
They
guessing.
don't know.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
We were going to be dropped. Oh, Skeletal are actually going to commit to this.
So they are 50-50 in this. There is a level lead here on Krusty Pants. Does have better
TPs are
slice.
going to be dropped. Auto dig. Onslaught of Shadows, and now that forced out the Feather Storm. Will it be enough though? Ult's going to be dropped onto Annihilation. Unfortunately, there is no follow-up. And Corbico picks up one kill onto Volibear. Bobbler picks up one. SLB picks up one. Annihilation, no ulti. Nice. Unfortunately, ooh, Dig does ult. Nice unfortunately, not enough damage. Annihilation. Nice Blade Caller. Nice kiting. Unfortunately, I don't think he has the damage, and he's eventually just going to either get run down. Cormico flashing, Eing in. I'm not going to make that joke, but yes, that is a clean, no, sorry, not another clean ace. Okay, whatever. It's an ace for Skeletal, and they are looking to take this inhib and maybe the game off this.
Like, you saw how difficult it was for Annihilation to even enter that fight, right? As soon as the Feather Storm is down, like, the moment he walks up, like, he could have the Renekton straight on top of him, so, you know, the rest of the team were kind of melted down very quickly before he could start even getting his damage off again. Tried to kite out as best as he could at the end, but ultimately just doesn't have the damage to chunk through this Renekton and Hecarim. You know, they both so much to sustain, and obviously the kind of pseudo tankiness coming with the Hysterics really helps as well. So yeah, unfortunately, again, rough position for Gromp Gobblers. Now they've lost bot and top in Hib. Baron is still here on the table. 50-50 is still a possibility. You know, the Gromp Gobblers are still trying to play up, try to keep vision towards that Baron in place, so that, you know, but it is rough. Again, you also have the Infernal Dragon coming up in the next 1 minute and 20, which, as we identified before, is the other win condition that Skeletal can kind of play towards. So they are going to start up the Baron here, though. There's no vision for Gromp Gobblers in the area.
This is not what you. If they get this, this is very hard for Gromp Gobblers to defend.
Yeah.
But they might go all in on SLB. SLB flashing in, Dragon's Descent being dropped, another flash cube from Squabble, and I'm pretty sure SLB does go down, but at what cost? 850 gold shutdown does go to Dig. Unfortunately, that Nash is gonna go to the side of Skeletal. Dragon's Soul also 40 seconds, so.
Yeah. And it's so hard to try fight for this, right? Because you got two super waves in bot and top. And that's going to continue to cause pressure. So that you know, that has to be answered when there's only one TP available with Dig, who's not the greatest wave clearer in the world at this point with the Echo. Very, very difficult for Gromp Gobblers to even try approach this through their own jungle. Like, look.
Oh, Legendary on the backline. I don't think Krusty is caught out though. It actually might be Legendary. Okay, never mind. He's just gonna take a nice chunk of damage, but he's just gonna walk away. Echo does have TP. SLB isn't alive. If there's a time to go for Gromp Gobblers, this is the time when you don't have when it's a 4v5. You know. Oh, and Squabbo knows he's gonna just get kited and chunked out. Dig, a little bit too caught deep. He does have the ulti though. Is he able to cast it in time? Yes, he does. Bobbler does unfortunately pick up Shyvana, and flash from Legendary unfortunately is not going to be enough. Double kill for Miko. Better Storm going to be used. Will Annihilation have the damage? Unfortunately, that does play damage so massive right now with that. And I'm afraid that is the game and series for Skeletal.
Yeah, well played from Skeletal. Ultimately, I think they've managed to kind of execute on their comps relatively well in both games. Like, we did see mistakes from both teams. But yeah, ultimately, you know, they were the cleaner of the two teams overall, and especially in game one. Like if I was to give series MVP two, I'd have to give it to Krusty Pants. I think he really popped off on the Heck Room in both games. Um, Definitely put a lot of pressure on the map and was very crucial in making these kind of late game picks in both games, especially game one when they were actually almost in a losing position and they kind of had to make an inventive deep pick in the enemy zone jungle just to kind of win out the game. So yeah, really massive performance coming out here from Skeletal. They do win the series 2-0 and will progress into the losers final versus Built Different plus Raj, which will be a best of 5 and will be coming to you guys hopefully as soon as possible. Hi, what is your feelings on the series?
Well, honestly, I think that was very well played from the side of Skeletal. Game one, it was very back and forth. It was very hard to, even though like Gromp Gobblers did pick up that soul, that ocean soul, as a matter of fact. They Skeletal still had a way to found a way to turn it back. With all that CC, all that engage, all that team comp difference, if I would say. But in game two, they knew what they were doing. They were more on comfort. Poplar got his Vixer. Krusty just got to run around, and I'm pretty sure that mid play where Krusty lived on 1 HP and managed to kill Taki and Tadoji, I think that's just set the record straight that Skeletal are deserving of reaching these finals.
And Bopper had a much improved game too. Like just looking at the damage graphs alone, he put up 40k throughout that game, which is way more than anyone else on the team. So definitely a big step up from that game one performance. Did a lot of those fights as well as the amount of CC he put down with that, just like Gravity Well, right? Especially in that kind of crucial fight around that third dragon was absolutely insane with the 4-man stun. So yeah, definitely different members from Skeletal stepping up here. Cormaco also had a really good performance on the Ezreal, this game. So yeah, it actually makes me really excited for this best of 5 versus with Built Different plus Raj. I think we're going to see two really good teams go against each other, and I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. But that will do it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much, Ty, for joining me on the cast. Thank you to everyone for watching, and we shall see you guys next time.